Hello, Internet. We will be starting shortly.
That's what that was.
Well, I'm Corey. I'm the
Hi,
guest for today.
Nice to meet you, Corey. I don't know, the occasional ding every now and then kind of like reminds us that we have messages.
We are currently live, by the way.
Watch your mouth.
We never have that shit. That is trapped by cat.
Well, it was nice knowing her.
I apologize beforehand if over my mic you hear any cats or dogs or anything like that.
Oh, that's perfect.
I mean, I figured, but
You might hear some crying at some point because I know that I have two kids playing video games downstairs and they're gonna fight eventually.
yelling, crying.
You know,
normal stuff.
just typical siblings playing games.
Exactly, exactly.
Hey guys,
Howdy.
Hello.
let me go ahead and get your cameras set up. How is everybody?
Looks like we lost Sarah.
I can barely hear you at all, Sarah. Let me try turning your volume up.
Did we lose
I
John?
lost her
I'm only
connection.
seeing recovering lost network connection on him.
I see him fine. I hear him fine. John, say something.
Hello.
Hi, buddy. How you
I've
doing?
got nothing for him. Just a
Doing
frozen
alright.
screen. And it says
Is
recovering
anybody else
lost
having issues talking to John? Because I see him and hear him pretty clearly.
No,
I don't really have
the
issues
only
talking
one
to him.
that-
He's a pretty open person, you know, and I kind of find that it's easy to open
Yeah.
up to
No, I feel the same way. I'm glad you two too.
him.
All right. Let me take a moment to get you guys cameras set up while y'all figure out, your communication issues. Really feel like y'all need to open up to
Yeah,
each other, though.
I'm gonna
It's
try to close.
very important.
Did Sarah just drop?
I
Yep.
think so, maybe.
Yeah. The only ones I'm having issues with is Sarah and you, Ryan.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No,
like
we
connection
could
issues.
hear you, but
You
you're
go in and
stuttering.
out.
Oh, that's not good. Okay, I'll just try to speak clearly. If there's anything,
Just having connection issues intermittently.
yeah, that can happen. And with Sarah dropped out, I can't set up her camera.
Must
Hang on
recall
just a
her.
second. Sorry about the technical issues on the other end, viewers. If you are, in fact, out there, I'm not looking at chat at the moment. We are just addressing a couple of quick issues to bring in our guest and make sure that the cameras are up correctly, and we'll be right with you.
Technical issues? What are those?
Wouldn't be Dungeon Dwellers without them.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the Facebook, Ryan, but Vet got trapped under a cat.
Yeah. I don't think she's gonna make it.
Welcome back, Sarah.
Is Vet joining us?
She's supposed to be.
Eventually.
We're waiting on
She's-
her to get here.
She needs to untrap herself.
Yeah. And for those of you watching at home, this is how the magic happens. I tinker with cameras typically before stream.
And I listened to my 1992 playlist to get pumped up.
Oh yeah. What's on this playlist? I need to know now.
Jam.
Dude.
Remember when we said you were ageless?
Yes.
Hey, shut up.
I know. Look, I mean, hey, I could be a younger guy who just likes music from the 90s. Not that I could have easily have not existed at that point. I wasn't 15 or whatever I was at that time, like, come on.
Fair enough. Besides,
Yeah, man, I got all the good
Sarah's
stuff
taste
on
in
here,
music,
dude.
she has excellent taste in music, so
She does.
yeah.
I have old taste in music too, so I can't really talk.
I was about to say.
I kind of have it balanced, I kind of start the days with some, Mother Love Bone, and then I go to Soundgarden, and then I hit some Pearl Jam, and then Alice in Chains, and I end it generally when we're fighting listening to some Megadeth.
Nice.
Your day gets like progressively louder.
Yeah, it does. It's awesome.
Your girlfriend must love that.
Oh, she loves it.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting and getting everybody situated and waiting on Vet to turn up, just quick check with anybody out there in internet land. How are we coming through? Loud and clear, I hope? Just checking in on the Twitch app and making sure everything works. You hear us great. Thank you, XG6 Gaming. We appreciate you. Everything looks like it's coming through pretty smoothly too. I'm really liking the new layout. Thank you very much, Josh, for sharing the base with that for me. Yeah, exactly. See, that's how I feel.
Regular Star-Lord.
Hey,
Yeah,
that
you
guy
know,
had
my-
excellent
my,
taste in music.
Manny's you're Star-Lord now, apparently.
No,
It
he's,
works.
he's still
He's
Tony
really
Stark.
Iron Man. Yeah, he's really
Yeah.
Tony Stark.
He's our Tony.
I got the quips, though, I got the quips. I can pull a Star-Lord if I needed to.
You're versatile.
I am versatile, yes.
You're not confined to just one Marvel superhero.
No, and it took a while to kind of break from it, because that was, the only thing, that was the only ace in the hole I had that, that made me look good or, feel good when you go to a convention and everyone's like, oh my god, I need to take pictures with you. I'm like, wow, people like me.
They really like me.
Because I look like somebody else and I act like somebody else. That's awesome.
It's a great feeling.
It is.
It's the best. Stark Lord, yeah. XG6 Gaming's on point tonight.
On
Perfect.
point.
I love it. Star Tony. That's
I did.
awesome.
I think you saw Manny from last year. The Pushing Daisies cosplay I did.
I love
That was
Yeah.
awesome. That
It
was
was
really
like-
cool.
Nobody had any idea what I was, and it was the first year where I did two days in a row. I did that cosplay. It was the first year where I didn't get stopped every 5 feet. It was a completely different experience.
I was ashamed for everyone who didn't recognize you, and that pie smelled disturbingly delicious for something that was fake. It also smelled disturbing in general after a couple of days, so I'm not really sure what you put on it exactly, but I began to be concerned.
It just permanently smells like fresh baked pie.
Maybe not so fresh after the first 4 or 5 days. It was pretty cool, though. And somebody from Tampa,
hear something
Florida is
about
calling
some
me. I'm
noise,
just
but I
gonna
can't remember.
mute that
It's
because
not me. I'm not from Tampa.
I was about to say the only Florida people who I know and care to speak to really are, here on this game with us, unless they're members of the N7 crew. Shout out you guys if you're out there. And I know most of y'all are working right now, so you'll probably see this on YouTube. I mean, I miss speaking with y'all, just I know you're probably not calling me right now.
Although my number comes up as a Georgia number. So.
Does it?
Which is
Yeah.
weird. You don't even, have you ever even lived in Georgia?
I was
Nope.
about to say.
You imposter.
How dare. Well, hopefully we will have our warlock momentarily. In the meantime, recap on the events of the previous episode. So, in the course of trying to learn more about the cult and why they're trafficking in the stolen goods that they've taken from the many different towns. Sorry, I thought we lost audio for a second there.
You're having some issues.
Yeah, it looks like the stream's lagging out, or is that just me? Doesn't say I'm dropping any frames.
I'm happy.
And now I'm losing John. Oh no.
And I'm losing you.
Yeah, I think you're the only one.
Great. That's probably because I'm running everything. That's just wonderful. All right. So, last time, as everybody was spending their hard-earned coin on supplies and books, more books, some useful, some erudite, some perhaps a bit purple.
They're all useful.
If
Are you judging Sir RX Tate's book?
I would never. Especially given the amount of time I've taken to come up with so many of these book titles.
Let his semi-attractive, rugged good looks fool you. The man likes a romance.
I mean, and who doesn't? Let's be honest here.
It's novel.
Now, at the same time, as you go through any number of these books, you were able to discover some new allies, Morrook's druid friend in particular. You were able to establish a, let's say, not entirely cordial relationship between Jarrell and some of the local guardsmen. And for the rest of you, you were able to find what you were looking for at the local shops and prepare to set off as a part of the caravan headed north to track where the cult is delivering all of these goods. Now, first, you were to meet with your monk friend at the tavern so that you could discuss your next movement, your next phase of the adventure. If you'll give me just a moment, I swear I had my notes pulled up with all his name and everything. I apologize. Leosin Erlenthar. You were supposed to meet with Leosin before you set out. And so, I believe the last thing everyone was doing was going to sleep and then getting up the next morning in order to meet up with him before you head out. Froome has since moved on. He's off about his own business. But downstairs in the inn, there's a lively and bustling trade being done. And I'm going to try getting the music back on and see if I can actually get that working. Y'all let me know if I'm blowing out the speakers too much on stream with the music. I don't want that to overpower any of the players. Alright. So, I suppose Valara will join us in transit. We'll say that Valara has come downstairs somewhat the worse for wear for her evening. She seems very troubled by her dreams and is picking at her food and very sort of withdrawn today. What is everyone else up to as they come down to dinner?
We're meeting Leosin?
Yes. That's still too loud?
I mean...
Okay, good. Just the initial burst.
Sorry. Just... Morok is probably gonna be waiting for everyone else.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I thought last episode we finished with going to bed. You're saying this is we're meeting for dinner?
This is the next morning.
Okay, so breakfast, not dinner. I don't know why I thought
This is breakfast. You're supposed to meet
Okay.
him before you join the caravan.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's probably up and at him before anyone else and just waiting downstairs with the accompanying menagerie.
Yes, the ever-growing menagerie. Alright. Sir Arik, what are you up to?
I am hanging around, you know, trying to be comfortable in my own skin.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Waiting for the next move. You know, contemplate. You know, just contemplative, you know, trying to figure out where he's going, what he's doing in life, you know.
Pretending like you aren't reading a,
Pretending, yeah, like I kind of got my sword and everything like this, and I'm kind of peeking over, you know, like reading it, just chapter, just looking around, making sure no one's watching, because their head will come off.
It's entirely true. Okay. Well, we'll say Valara is just sort of hanging out with the rest of you.
Sir Arik, I thought that those books were for Valara.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that the guy didn't cheat us out of, you know, any pages or anything. I wanted to make sure there wasn't anything pages ripped out, you know. He looked like a swindler. I just didn't want him to swindle.
Oh, I agree. I mean, he asked us for payment to take his books to the... It was ridiculous. Do you want
It's
some
weird.
help? I'll go over them with you.
No, you know what? Let me just you can do some of these as long as you don't tell me what happened. I may want to inspect it again afterwards just in case. But just go ahead and just, you know, you can look at those. Just don't tell me anything, or don't tell me the titles, or don't tell me the covers, what they look like, because I don't know. So no spoilers.
Very specific instructions, but all right.
Yes, I'm a paladin. We know about these things.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been out from the village for very long, so I'll just take your word for it.
Very good. I like you.
All right.
She starts leafing through the books, but like occasionally looks over at him like she's really not sure what he's on about.
Okay. You're
Sounds like real life.
very surprised, I think, maybe, by some of the descriptions of the antics that people get up to in these stories. It seems like a very lighthearted adventure, occasionally punctuated by some sweeping drama and then some very tense moments that, depending on your sensibilities, might or might not make you turn different shades of color.
So Ulrich,
Yes.
what exactly? She holds the book out to you and points at a passage. Why is he striking her?
How old are you again?
He just questions. She's a virgin.
It's different cultures have different customs. So this is a little. Where's everybody else? Isn't everyone else supposed to be? Aren't we supposed to be going somewhere?
Oh, there you are, everyone.
First
Hello.
cavalry?
No,
Yes,
no,
it's
just
wonderful to see you.
yeah.
Leosin
that'd
plops
be
down for breakfast. And, hello. It's good to see you all.
When do we depart?
Well, I would say the more immediate the better, but there's a few minutes if you'd like to grab a bite. They seem to be loading up. They're headed first west down the trade road to the coast in Baldur's Gate, and then you'll be following the coast roads up the trace, and that'll take you northward. Hopefully, you won't have to follow it any further than Baldur's Gate, but you never know. Whatever information you can find is the most important part. I have found some leads of my own that I'm going to need to go and pursue. There's a human trader that I'd like to go look into, and there's actually another one that I have set you up with that is just outside the outer city, north of the city wall. You'll find him just outside the Black Gate district. His name is Celebon. Akin Celebon.
He's a human trader.
Yeah. He's one of my friend Onthar's contacts, but he was very kind and...
I thought you meant slave trade.
No. No, I could see how you might think that without the qualifying language. Sorry, my first language was Elvish in any case, so I understand the confusion. No, he's a human who deals in goods and trades them up and down the coast. He operates an equipage business in the outer north city wall, out of the Black Gate district. He sells all the material that you might need for long-distance freight hauling: wagons, ropes, netting, grease, chains, wheels, everything. And he also repairs wagons, and while he's not directly involved in the hiring of the guards for the caravans, he knew who he was. And,
So we're to be hired on as guards for the caravan of stolen goods.
some of you, and it won't just be stolen goods, there will be legitimate businesses traversing this. That's how they seem to be hiding it. We just need to know where it's going. Although, I suppose any additional information you can find would be useful. I'll pay what I can. Say again?
What's our plan of attack?
Well, not to attack just yet. We need to know where it's going. Once we know where, then you can contact me and we can join forces and strike. Or I can send additional help. If you feel competent to take the task yourselves, that's certainly your own decision. I just don't want you to get in over your heads. This could be very dangerous.
Alright. So, we'll finish here. We leave, we meet your contact, merchant.
Yes. If you
and
speak
from
to
there-
him, he'll vouch for those of you who wish to be hired on as guards. He can also put you in touch with whom you would need to speak to just travel with the caravan itself, and it might be best if you split up amongst yourselves, or you could hire honest guards. It's entirely up to you how you apportion yourselves. You know your skill sets better than I.
Well, I think Auric and Jarrell are going to need to go on as gods. That's what they look like.
Yes, you did mention
It's
that.
what
the other
I
day.
do.
And Valara, I suppose, might be better served to pretend to be a passenger.
She just sort of nods in the corner and goes, uh-huh. And then, and just, she looks like she's having a rough morning. She's nursing her coffee.
I'm not sure about myself, though.
Well, what makes you more comfortable?
Not being around people.
Well, I'm afraid I don't have any jobs involving that unless you wanted to stay here and be a member of the cloister, or perhaps help out with the local druidess who has taken the city under her protection.
More kind of gives him a look of like...
Just asking.
Okay. She's just kind of like... No.
The way you said it, he thought you were looking for an out.
You just asked what my preference was. Can't always have a preference.
That's quite true. I mean, honestly, if I had my preference, I would still be at the monastery, but, adventure called, and here we are. Found out some things about the world, and can't just let them alone. In any case...
I'll probably go with Valara. Shouldn't leave her by herself, it's unsafe.
Well, you should know a bit about the place you're going. Have any of you ever been to Baldur's Gate before?
No. Well, I haven't.
The rest of you?
It's been a while.
I don't think so.
Well, for those of you who may have been, but... The place is narrow, steep, slick from frequent rain. It's a nightmare for wagons, so they don't allow them in the city. The goods pass through from the city from south to north. They have to be unloaded on the outer city east of the wall and carried through the city by porters on foot, and then reloaded onto different wagons on the north side of the city for the rest of the journey. There's no convenient road around the city that bypasses any of it, the gates, the mountains, the hills, anything. So it will be easy, I hope, to be able to find what it is you're looking for that's being transported off this caravan and onto the next one. So that will be the trick. I wish I could go with you myself, but I learned some new information that I have to go and pursue. I travel faster on my own. Now, one of the things you'll need to do, definitely go and speak with this contact. And if you're going on as anything other than guards, caravan travelers sometimes tend to attract attention. Perhaps you could put yourselves off as professionals of some kind. Healers, buskers, whatever your particular skill. It's up to you. Yeah.
What if your skill is talking to animals?
Are you traveling with a large number of animals?
There's literally a wolf sitting at her feet and a squirrel on her shoulder.
No, Sorry, bad question. This must be one of those Elvish to common to translation things. Are you traveling with performing animals? Because that actually, I think, might while it might attract attention, it would also make people dismiss you as not of interest. And I think that would be an excellent cover. Do your animals perform for you?
Well, Puck is terrified of everything, and Bear doesn't listen to anything I say. And Thomas sleeps a lot.
Which one's Thomas? I only
The
see the
bat.
two. Bat.
He's in my rucksack.
There's a... Oh. Right. Yes, definitely not coming with me. Everyone would notice you. Traveling scholar? I'm sure you and Valara could have quite a bit to put yourselves off as scholars that way. A naturalist, perhaps.
I could do that.
There you are, then. There's a lot to be seen in the north. It's been some time since I've been to the Utgard Mountains, but if you do find yourselves traveling further north than Baldur's Gate, might be a good way to pass yourself off if you wanted to, going to study the natural lands of the beasts and fauna of the and perhaps even the flora of the Utgard Mountains, the spine of the world.
Alright.
You don't have to actually travel that far, of course.
Right, it's just cover.
So, any questions before I send you on your way to find Celebon?
Nope.
Alright. Well, in that case, let me cover your meal for this morning and your room for the night, and best of luck to you all, to all of us. And he sets a mug of breakfast ale on the table and clinks it with the rest of yours. Good fortune to us all.
To us all.
And he downs the remainder in a single pull, walks off to speak with the innkeeper, and takes out his pouch. So, what do you do next?
I guess we're gonna go find the not slave trader.
Yeah, not an actual slave trader, as far as anyone has informed anyone. It takes you perhaps 20 minutes to walk to the outer city of the north wall, to the edge of the Blackgate district. This place is packed with people everywhere. There's
Per Twitch, they're having trouble hearing us over the music.
Oh.
Mostly you.
Mostly me. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me turn myself up a little bit and the music down. Test 1 2, test 1 2. How are we doing, Twitch? Okay. Glad to hear it.
Good?
We seem to be. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. As you approach this part of the town, there are wagons being loaded, cargo being carried by stevedores, and you see a couple of buskers, but none of them openly performing. They're all getting ready to pull together themselves and get moving. You can see a caravan forming out at the edge, and it does appear to be getting ready to embark. Hey, thank you. So as you're headed out, you do see that there is a wagon and tackle store, a large thatched roof, about just raised slightly. As you see that there's a number of different storage bits on the ground, and it's built above a muddy, well rained upon, well trod upon bit of ground. So it looks like the piles have been sunk pretty high, so that they could make sure that it's got a good view of the loading area where everyone travels. And there you see the man who fits the description of the trader that you were referred to. And you see over his head labeled Celebon's equipage.
Moravik is definitely going to hang back at this point. There are new people, and there's a lot of people, and that's just sort of in general uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Anyone want to step up? Hello?
Sure.
Hello? Yes, thank you. That wagon
I'll step
there.
up.
Go. Take that. Yes, sir. What can we do for you? No, put that down. Look, take that to that dock over there. Yes, sorry, sir. What can I do for you?
I don't know. What can you do for us?
Well, that depends very much on what you're looking for. Who sent you to me?
What was his name? Leotis?
Leosin.
Leosin?
Oh, you're right. You're Froome's friends. All right, then. Yeah, the caravan. The caravan is being loaded over that way, and he just sort of ducks his head very matter-of-factly in one direction, but he turns it into sort of popping his shoulder like, all right. So,
There's something wrong with your shoulder.
Alright, I was just indicating which... Never mind. Listen, the caravan that's getting loaded up, there are 3 of them over there. The one that you want is the one that looks like it's about to leave right now. The yellow lead caravan. So they're headed to Baldur's Gate. The others are headed all off to all points out elsewhere. That's the one that I'm told you would like to hire on as guards for?
Sounds good. Let's go.
Well, I don't usually ask terribly many questions of our good friends Froome and his monks, but in this case, I'm happy to provide a reference. So why don't you follow me? Hey, Jane. Yeah, you. Come on. Mind the shop, boy. I'll be back. All right. And then he marches down into the mud, level with you guys. You can see he's sort of a stocky, thickly built gentleman. And he leads the way over to the caravan. He leans back and says, now, if you got any of you who wants to be passengers like, they'll want to talk to Genevieve. She's the caravan director. She'll be the one who you want to buy passage from. Now, she stays here after you leave the city, but she's the one who you want to buy passage with. So, I only mention it because some of y'all don't look especially like you want to be guards.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's fierce. She has a wolf.
She seems quite fierce to me. I did.
Yeah.
You weren't who I was referring to, darling. Sorry. Right. In any case. So he walks over. Now, let's see. Where is Yes, Caravan Master. Hoi! And he walks over and gives you guys a few minutes to yourselves as he goes and talks to the person leading the caravan. You can see that there's a number of different wagons lining up, boxes being loaded, many boxes already loaded. Some of the wagons are entirely covered. so you can't see what's inside or who's inside them already. A couple of them clearly do seem to be for passengers, though. There's a couple of them that are set up as kind of carriages as opposed to just open wagons. So you've got a few minutes before he comes back.
I guess Morrook and Valero will head over to the caravan leader.
Okay. Yes. Listen, Mr. Elliot, I can book passage for yourself. If your friend doesn't turn up, I can't book passage for him. I'm very sorry. And this directed to you, our new guest.
Why? What's wrong? Why can't he be here? Like, why is
You
it a big
tell
deal?
me. Listen. I can take you gold for the extra space for him, but if he doesn't turn up, I can't give it to him.
Yeah. I'll pay. That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, as long as he's here, that's all I care about. As long as he has space.
Well, we'll find the space for him, but he has to be here to use it. If they take the space away from you during the trip, that is on him. He has to actually be present to sleep on things. Otherwise, they're going to use the space for something else. Next.
I just scurry away.
Passage for myself, my wolf, and my friend.
Your what?
He's harmless.
Right, passage for yourself, your friend, and one very large, harmless dog. Because if I write Wolf, the caravan director is going to absolutely have me shot. Not in a pleasant way. Alright, right, that's going to be 15 silver a day, for passage and for room and board. Will that be a problem?
No.
All right. Now that's 15 for you. It's 10 for you, Miss Farrar, since you've introduced your name, and I just realized that it didn't happen out loud. We'll assume it has. It's 10 for you, Miss, because you've got no additional wolf. And 15 a day for you. If you will kindly just make sure that your baggage gets all stowed with you. You don't appear to have terribly much. That's good. Just remember you can get food. Either take it with you, or you can buy additional food off of the packman during the trip. And she immediately points over to the same wagon she just sent the young blonde-haired gentleman off in the direction of.
Okay, I guess we'll head to that. That's where the passengers are going.
That's where this group is going. They're assigning it about 4 to a wagon, just so it's not more packed in. 4 is pretty tight for a wagon of any particular size in any case.
Alright. Then I guess we'll get in the wagon and I will put Puck in the open third seat.
Okay. There's a wolf in front of you there, Elliot.
Hi. Hi.
Morrook just kind of nods.
The wolf just sort of leans in and sniffs once.
Puck.
Nice puppy. Oh.
Puck!
Puck kind of leans back and sits in the sits in the seat.
Puck, that's bad manners.
It's alright. It's okay. I don't really mind. I just wasn't really expecting it. It's okay.
He's harmless.
Alright, yeah. I have and I'm gonna cast my familiar, and my little kitty's gonna come out.
It's a
Puck immediately sort of gets up on his haunches and tries to edge further away from the cat.
Puck. It's a cat.
It's okay.
He stares at you
promise.
dubiously.
You've seen cats before. You're bigger than it.
What kind of cat is this?
I mean, it's okay. He could come over here. He'll just sit in my coat. That's fine, like under my coat.
Puck
Is that
seems
okay?
to be leaning very hard against the opposite wall of the wagon, like he's trying to sort of push through it.
Puck! Stop it. You're embarrassing me. It's a cat. You could eat it. Don't eat it, but you could.
Yeah, please don't eat my.
Puck
Please
looks
don't eat my
very
cat.
disbelieving at his master.
So is that all that's joining us on this caravan? This cart?
No, I'm going to, right? Is there room? Is there room for a small guy in a really big set of armor?
Well, I think you and
Guards
Darrell
are
have to
act-
go speak to the guard.
Yeah. A moment or two after you guys get introduced initially, the gentleman who was working with you comes back. So, spoke with the caravan master on your behalf. Told him you boys were tough. It worked for me before. Thought you might try your hands at being caravan guards again after getting kind of bored and stir crazy working in my shop. Told him you all had some previous experience. I trust that's true.
That it is.
Excellent. I hate being a liar. In any case, do me a favor next time you see Onthar. Tell him he owes me one. And you gents have a safe trip. And if you ever need a wagon, you're welcome to come get one from me. Give you a good rate.
We appreciate it.
He just wipes a really dirt and grease smeared arm across his face and somehow succeeds in making his face and his arm even messier and walks off shouting for Jane, the shop boy. So, you two are the new hires, says the caravan master. Tall, gray-haired man. Well, it's going to be 25 silver a day in pay. That's including hazard pay, so no, you don't get more than that, but we do provide you a wagon to sleep in. We provide a dry spot unless we can't, and then in that case we're all wet, and you in turn will jump in front of any bandits that try to loot, pillage, or otherwise to spoil the caravan. You look like you might actually be smarter than the last group we hired. What's your previous experience?
No.
Aha. Filling me with confidence there.
Both this walking armor suit over here and I were caravan guards before we met up with our current party.
Oh, it's good to hear you've had previous experience. I assume you've encountered bandits before.
Quite a few.
Oh, many.
Well, then you know which point of the sword goes in. If you just scare them off, that's one thing, but one more dead bandit is one more caravan that doesn't get hit behind us, and possibly even not us on the way back. So, if you have to kill someone, it's distasteful, but you're welcome to. And we do have a writ from the king giving us permission if in our own defense. So, do you accept the pay and terms?
Yes.
Yes.
Well enough. Here's your first day. He hands you both a small pouch containing 15 gold and a small attached pouch containing a turkey leg. There's your food for the day and your pay. We will dole out the rest once we reach the other end of this, but food you can get from the package caravan portion once we get settled in at our next stop. He walks off. A few moments later, you hear his voice calling, "All right, everybody line up. We're leaving." there's some bustle, but eventually the wagons begin to creak and caravans begin to get moving. Are you boys going to be walking alongside, or are you going to hop onto a wagon?
I'm gonna walk alongside for right now.
Alright.
Same.
Okay. And off you go to Baldur's Gate. Well, meanwhile, back in the confines of the caravan, Elliot, you've not seen your friend turn up. He apparently didn't make it to the wagon in time, and in his spot is sitting this large, very scaredy-cat looking wolf dog thing. Looks much more wolf than dog. And it seems to be hiding, or trying to, from your cat, which is a comical sight, considering that the cat is maybe 1/5 of its size.
Well, I've pulled a book out, and me and my cat are reading it.
Which, is this a particular book?
Probably, what do we got? Picked up in town. I believe Sword and Shields, Volume 1? Chapter 1?
Unfortunately, none of the fans of that series are actually in the caravan with you.
Okay.
Is it the... Because Valara is in the caravan.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately her player isn't present, because it would be far more entertaining with the player.
Right.
Okay, so wait, there's 2 more people? There's 2 people?
Yeah,
Yes.
Valara, she's...
Okay.
Yvette isn't here, and I guess not coming at the point.
I don't know.
She sent a picture of her cat.
Yeah, that probably means she's not. You guys talk for a second. I will be right back. I've got something emergency going on this end, but I'll still be able to hear you.
Look at that fluff ball.
Oh, you're talking about Hime?
Yeah.
Hime is cute.
She's sleeping. It is a crime to awaken a sleeping cat.
Especially one that is on your lap.
Yes.
What's up? Yes. Okay. It'll be fine. I hadn't planned on eating until we get done around 8:30. I mean, I had my lunch around 1, so I'm fine. Do you need anything? No, it's fine. Whose funeral? Dad's coach. Dad's coach? Yeah.
I will be back in 1 second.
I just want to, like, take a bio.
Don't let anyone kill my character while I'm not looking.
Okay,
No
get
promises.
Yeah.
Please
go ahead
don't
and
let
take
him,
a
like-
quick bio break. This may take a second. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good.
Yes. There shouldn't be. It takes a little time to synchronize. Once that's done, it shouldn't be an issue. Well, sorry about that, guys. My dad's coach has passed on. Apparently she's headed out, and my mother decided this was the appropriate time to ask about
That's fine.
data backups, which I don't understand. So, that's odd.
I is back.
Welcome back.
Gracias.
Okay. Hello, Internet. Sorry about keeping you waiting. And sorry to the rest of you guys. So, apart from technical troubleshooting and setting up me and my mother going down to a friend of the family's funeral, which is very sad. Apparently after the game,
Sorry
I'm
to hear
driving
that.
down to Auburn to get this taken care of, and also troubleshooting Google Chrome and Google Drive in the meantime. Hooray.
Sorry to hear that,
for,
man.
For all of those out there who do technical support for your family, be patient with them. They don't know what they do.
Oh, I knew.
And charged by the hour.
Yes.
I Try handing your mother a bill. Try it. Anyway, so I apologize for keeping you guys. We'll just call that our break early. So, hopefully that's given Valara enough time to join us. How is Vet? Has anybody heard from Vet?
She had the cat sleeping on her.
Ah, I imagine.
It was only a few hours of sleep. She's probably gone.
Yeah, given what she said earlier today about how rough her morning and her night was, I'm inclined to just. I'm sad we're missing Vet, but we'll move on. Yeah, see? Josh, exactly. Just a hard no. Hard, Thank you. Great big hard no. Well, I guess while we're taking a moment waiting for Sarah to come back, news and updates. Knights of Dice is going well. We'll look forward to all of you joining us on Monday of next week for another exciting episode of Knights of Dice. Wednesdays, Tales of the Sanguine Isles is heating up, so you should probably be watching that. If you're not already, go check it out. Josh is an excellent DM. And of course, next Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
Well, Sarah is
Not yesterday,
getting back.
but the coming Sunday. I'll be doing another episode of Big Damn Heroes, the continuing adventures of the Shinmei, as told by our illustrious crew, now in our 3rd season. Very excited about this. And of course, we're here. Hero Complex continues. So, we will, we'll be back running the caravan as soon as we get John and Sarah back. Well, in the meantime, Elliot, is there anything you want to do since you're stuck in a wagon with a very sleepy librarian and a half-orc and a wolf and a bat and a squirrel?
Got quite a zoo back here.
Yeah. And since your friend didn't turn up, you do trust that he'll make his way. He'll catch up to you somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
imagine he can't go far.
Of course.
So we'll see if the cat changes at all.
Hopefully he will catch up. I'll have to talk to him about that. So Jeremy, hey, listen to me, man. Jeremy, next time, you just tell your wife no Easter dinner instead of staying at home and being, a family man and good husband and all that nonsense. You should just come play D&D. I
Always
understand, though.
prioritize.
Have a
D&D.
happy Easter to you and your family. But yes, Elliot, you are surrounded by a menagerie and a sleepy librarian and a very wary-looking half-orc woman.
Mhm.
What do the librarian and the menagerie and the half-orc woman see?
I'm reading a book with my cat. I said it earlier.
Yeah, but
I mean,
what does your character look like? Who
Oh,
and what do
okay.
they see?
sure. Well, I have this blonde, almost white,
Hoard.
short, really messy hair. Green eyes. Nice glasses, so I can actually see because I am blind. I'm wearing just through like my nice shirt and jacket. You could see a breastplate underneath. I'm not completely, just in nothing. Some really dirty boots, and I have my spell book to my side. I have little bottles and pouches all over my belt, and then I have my satchel in my backpack. I come prepared.
And you
Is,
are, in fact, a man.
Yes. Yes, I
Is your race apparent?
am. Human. Human male. Sorry, I should have led off with that, but
That's fine. And hair can cover ears, which can be like the only way you can tell the difference sometimes.
it's fair.
It can be very misleading. And
Well,
what
unfortunately,
does Elliot see?
oh, I was gonna say, unfortunately for like roleplay purposes, the talkative character isn't here. Moraruk is introverted and extremely suspicious of literally everything and everyone. Let me see if I can find her picture, because she's half orc. Um, would you say it's apparent from her appearance that she's half elf, half orc, or a half human, half orc? Because most
Slightly
half orcs
pointier
are half
ears than you would expect for an orc.
human.
I do have a high like perception, so I might be able to make that out maybe.
Here we go. I can share links in the Twitch chat, right?
You should be able to. Check with Josh.
That's more. Yeah, I didn't get banhammered for it.
Excellent. Nightbot is really stingy.
Yeah, Nightbot is weird. That's more Rook.
Nice. I like it.
As you guys are sort of not quite looking at each other and traveling across, there is a sort of hissing sound as Bear
Oh lord.
runs across your arm, jumps across, and grabs at a fallen object of some kind that you can't quite see.
Bear! Come back!
Bear stops and looks at you indignantly and chitters.
Get back here now.
The cat familiar just kind of hisses and growls at the squirrel. The squirrel gets up in the cat's face and just kind of like,
Bear!
I
Bear!
just, then I motion for him. I'm like, get back here. Stop. You're making scene. You haven't met these people.
Get in my... Bear,
just a
come back!
standoff between an imaginary squirrel and an imaginary cat. This is the only game where that happens. I love D&D.
Yeah, I want this to go on as long as possible.
I know, it's kinda weird, right? I know we
More-
have all this big story to get to, but this is where it gets entertaining, because you're like, what the hell
The
is
little
this?
stuff.
It's the little things.
Moraruk is gonna, she leans over, reaches down, and makes a grab for Bear.
Okay, go ahead and make a...
Is that animal handling or dexterity?
I'm gonna say that's animal handling. I'm gonna say it. Yeah. Make an
Who
animal
cares
handling
about
check.
the larger story when there's character interaction to be had?
21.
Very nice.
Okay, that is an opposed check with Bear's
Do you
dexterity.
actually have a sheet for Bear?
I came prepared.
Don't
don't even with me, Sarah. You know better.
Oh my god.
Just have to find where I put it. Okay. Well, no, neither of those rolls actually beat you. So, the first roll is the one that counts. I didn't mean to roll that twice. Bear is trying to lunge away with his little with his prize, whatever it is he scooped up. Let me roll to see if he actually manages to hold on to it. Probably not. Oh, not bad. He does actually manage to hold on to the thing that he is clutching. So you scoop up a very indignant, feisty squirrel, clutching a small object between its tiny hands.
Drop it. Drop it.
Reaper, Reaper,
Bear
get over here.
Bear immediately puts it in his mouth.
No, that's the opposite of drop it. Put it down.
Yep. It's not going to do it.
I'm gonna try to take whatever is out of his mouth.
Okay.
It's gonna be dexterity.
Make an animal handling check with disadvantage.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Ooh. Yeah, no. Bear wriggles free of your grasp and climbs up onto your shoulder, and you hear the distinct cracking sound of either a tooth or something being gnawed in half, and it's difficult to tell which.
Reaper jumps back up on my lap
Bear,
and just kind of stares at the squirrel.
drop it. Now.
You hear a tiny swallowing sound, just a little.
That's it, no dinner!
Bear looks at you, just stunned, and doesn't move. Okay. Bear just sort of wilts and darts into your little pouch, and you can see Thomas poking his little nose out.
Bear, what did you... Oh, I'm gonna cast, Speak with Animals.
Okay. The first thing you hear as you do that is the cat muttering something about how rude that squirrel is.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. What
I'm
did you
talking
have?
to your cat.
Oh.
I'm sorry, he's so rude.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Again to the cat.
Okay.
I'm sorry, he's so rude. He has no manners.
Cat just shakes its head, flicks its tail, and curls up.
Like looking directly at your cat, speaking to your cat. I'm sorry. Bear, what did you eat?
Bear clearly appears to still be chewing on what looks to be a very large nut.
Does that belong to you?
In a tiny squirrel voice, Bear says with his mouth full, "It's us now."
That's all you're getting tonight, then. All of the dried fruits and special fancy nuts that I picked up from the druid, you're not getting any of those.
You have never seen a wilted and disappointed and defeated-looking squirrel until now.
What? Don't look at me like that. You got out of the bag, you went over there, you got something that doesn't belong to you, you put it in your mouth, and you wouldn't give it back to me. Does that belong to the cat?
Bear pulls the remainder of what might be a nut out of its mouth and sets it down on the outside of the bag.
I look at the cat. Is this yours?
The cat flicks its tail and says, and just sort of looks at Elliot and then curls up in Elliot's lap.
I'm sorry. If this was yours, I can get you some like replacements.
Well, you don't need to make a perception check. Looking at it, it is the remains of a dried piece of cork.
This isn't even edible, Bear.
It's a stopper for an ink bottle.
But I'm sorry. Now she's addressing Elliot. Are you missing a cork for one of your potions or ink bottles or something? I think.
You have a vial of blue ink sort of running down and staining a part of your coat.
Oh God!
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
I
I'll just.
I
Blue's
can
my
pay
favorite color.
you
Damn.
for that.
Um,
I don't know how much the ink was or the suit. So what I can give you some coin.
it if you want to, I'm not gonna make you, but it's okay.
I'm I'm so sorry. She like turns and like, why? It's not even food. You're embarrassing me.
It's really okay. I'll just
I'm
have to get
sorry.
this cleaned.
I'll just here. She like pulls out a few gold pieces and like hands them. She starts to hand them to your cat and then like kind of realizes what she's doing and hands them to you instead.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, you could give him it if you want to. He'll hold it.
She goes back to giving them to your cat.
Okay. He just kind of like tucks it under his paws.
What's the cat's name?
Reaper.
Rayber?
Reaper.
Oh, Reaper.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. He's got no manners and he's a little thief. I'm very sorry about your coat.
It's fine. I'll just press digitation down. It's fine.
I would do that, but I don't know that one.
Do you actually have that spell?
No, I don't have it, but I'll find somebody that does. Gosh.
Fair enough.
You might be able to do something.
Valora sleepily kind of looks around and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't even paying attention. What's going on?"
Do you know prestidigitation?
Oh, yes. What's oh dear. Oh dear. Hold still, mister. That's a very pretty cat. Hold still. And there's a
Thanks.
little puff of just a kind of warmth ripples through the air between Valara and Elliot as this warm breeze sort of drifts out of her hands and over the spilled substance, and just like that, the ink vanishes and blends into the rest of the coat, and there's no sign of any stain or spillage at all, although you've lost about half of a vial of blue ink.
Well, thank you very much for taking care of that.
So sorry about that. May I? Your kitty is lovely. May I pet him?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Valora leans over and begins to scratch your cat, who, excited for the attention, immediately goes over and claims Valara's lap as his own.
Yeah, you disown me quite quickly, cat.
You get a very disdainful little flick of the tail, and the cat makes just shameless purring noises. I mean, it may be a spirit companion, but it's a cat right now.
It's true.
Moraruk picks Bear up and puts him back in the rucksack.
Bear very sullenly does nothing to dissuade you.
You can't even eat a cork. Why? Just stay in there.
Hashtag Bear did nothing wrong.
Moraruk looks like thoroughly embarrassed.
It's really okay. I've done worse things to this jacket. It's quite okay.
She kind of like nods and then pretends that she finds her feet very interesting.
And I too suddenly find my feet very interesting.
Valara
Go back
looks
to my
back
book.
and forth at the two of you and says, "So, I guess we're all stuck in this caravan together for a few days."
Yes.
Is it acceptable to commit suicide at this point?
In whose culture? Valara looks at you with kind of a shocked look on her face.
My sarcasm doesn't work with people. I have to make a note of that.
I, no, no, suicide is not appropriate. Suicide is never appropriate unless you do something completely socially mortifying to the point that you can never possibly ever recover, and ink doesn't qualify.
It's true.
Seriously, just bad idea. Just
In
make nice. It's not Morrook, I understand. I'm so sorry. I what happened? Hello, I'm so sorry. What happened to your coat?
Oh, you just cleaned the ink off of it. It was just the squirrel, I guess, got the cork out and it's spilled down the coat. But it's okay. I mean, it's really okay.
Bear got out of the rucksack and stole a cork from one of her ink bottles. His ink bottles, and tried to eat it, and spilled ink all over her in the process.
Your
And
squirrel
Mr.
gets up to a lot of mischief.
He thinks he's a bear.
I can see. Well,
How big he is.
okay. I'm so sorry. I guess we're all flustered now. This is a lovely cat. You said his name is Reaper?
Yes, his name is Reaper.
Reaper just purrs like a majestic, doted upon animal. He's very friendly.
Yes. I tried to kind of socialize him a bit. Usually it's just me, so he enjoys other people's company.
Well, that's good to know. Where are you traveling to?
Where am I traveling to? Where is this caravan going again?
This caravan's headed to Baldur's Gate, but after that, the packages and everything are turning north, and a new caravan is headed further north.
Okay, well that's where I'm
But
going.
you personally, I think, were headed toward the Utgard Mountains.
Okay, yeah. We didn't actually talk about that before the stream, so
We did, but it's been a bit. There's been a lot
yeah,
happening.
it was a lot.
Yeah. So, well, I'm Valara, and this is my traveling companion Moruruk. And
So while they've been talking, because I still have speak with animals, I am trying to talk to the cat.
okay,
So
what do you say to Reaper?
I'm very sorry for my squirrel. Um, his name is Bear, and he is usually quite sweet. It has no manners. And my name is Morrook, and over here is Puck, and he's terrified of you, for good reason. I mean, obviously he has every right to be. You're quite lovely and gorgeous, and I mean, I would be too if I was him. And I also have Thomas in my rucksack. He's a bat, so he doesn't come out much. Um, but I'll try to keep them contained and away from you unless you want to meet them. I'm sorry.
This whole time that Valara is speaking with you, Elliot, the two of you hear this sort of cat-like, very very low, very quiet trilling and growling, and an almost purring like sound coming from Morrook. Reaper flicks his tail at you a couple of times and then says in a very plain, common voice, I accept your apology.
May I pet you?
The cat sort of looks over at Valara and seems to decide having more pets can't hurt. And then he hops across the cart and goes and sits in your lap. So,
Oh,
while you're petting and you're making up for the terrible behavior of your other companion,
did he just disappear for everyone else?
what's going on?
I
You're,
can
You
hear.
were
you're
just lying
cutting
for a
out.
bit.
Yeah, I've got bad signal. I'm getting a poor signal connection with everybody, so I think my internet's dropping. This is really frustrating because we're not dropping any frames according to oh, yeah, we're dropping about 2% of frames according to OBS. That's frustrating. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
now.
You stutter every now and again, but it's getting better.
All right. I'm not sure what's going on with the internet. It should be a little better now. How's
The
this?
last thing I heard you say was as he sits in your lap, and I missed everything after.
The cat, yeah, I might need to XG. I'll give that a shot in a little. If it gets worse. As you sit there
This
with the
stream
cat,
is it be coming through all right?
yeah, it seems to be broadcasting okay. As the cat sits in your lap and looks up at you, it accepts your petting and says, "It's all right. The petting will probably upset Bear just as much as being scolded, and that is punishment enough. Don't you agree?" And sort of presses into your hand as you pet him.
Yes, you're right. He's probably quite jealous right now, and he deserves it.
My cat's such an asshole.
It's a cat. It's a cat.
They are.
And I mean,
Okay, well, as long as the audio is good, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. But the
he's
cat. Go ahead.
he's lovely, and I do love him, but he's got no manners, and he's quite an embarrassment.
I'm sure he's normally fine. He just seems to want attention, and at the moment, I'm going to take that away from him. And then the cat rolls over and exposes its belly.
Do you think I'm going to fall for that?
I absolutely do.
You're right.
This whole time, by the way, whenever the cat responds to Moraruk, Elliot, you can understand your cat.
It's true.
You can't
My
understand
cat's an asshole.
Moraruk because Moraruk
Familiars are a
speak
great
with
thing.
animals, but because this cat is your familiar, you can understand every word it says.
I just look over, like, kind of give him a little side eye, and I'm like, Reaper, play nice.
Reaper just sort of flicks its ears at you and just continues to purr even louder as its belly gets scritched.
I just let him go. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not gonna really listen to me that much, unless I tell him what to do.
Valara leans over to you and says, "Ooh, you seem to have quite a number of ink bottles. Are you a scribe?"
In a way, I guess. I do need to write down my spells.
Spells? You cast spells. I come from a library where we write down all manner of books, but spells are part of it. I myself am a librarian at the Candlekeep.
Oh, that's quite a something.
In fact, I have a book here too, and she pulls out her tome, and has you can quite clearly see, since your passive perception's so damn high, that she has a stack of books, including the same 3 that you do, but with like the 4th and 5th volume, in addition to her own grimoire that she pulls out and sets down and starts flipping through. See, I picked these up as I was going, and they're just fascinating bits to write down and describe the different formulae, and there's so many stories that come with these spells. I love them.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I don't get out much, so my collection isn't quite as big as yours, but I bring out my spell book, and it's like double, triple strapped onto my side. It takes like a minute to kind of undo all the straps just to make sure it stays there.
The two of you spend some time poring over the tome and comparing notes while Morrook gets to know Reaper. And now there's a whole nother cat I have to make a character sheet for.
So sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Yes, Arik and Jarell. It's begun to rain a little bit as you travel, but nothing terribly uncomfortable. It is chilly. Winter is almost a constant presence this far north, but it's been a relatively warm day. You've seen a significant amount of mist, occasional bits of rain as you trudge along. You've made it several miles outside of town, but nothing really has caught your eye just yet. Do any of you wish to make any rolls to see if you see anything, or do you want to talk to anyone?
I will inspect the road ahead.
Okay. So you're going to range ahead a little bit. What about you, Sir Arik?
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna kind of look on the sides, look on the side that I'm at. Kind of look over the horizon, make sure there isn't someone trying to sneak up on us.
Fair enough. All right. Since you're both doing this, Jarell, if you would give me a perception check with advantage, because you've got the assistance of Sir Arik's eyes. Nice. Good roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Up ahead in the distance, you do see some severely muddy patches of road, and there's some easy ways that you and the caravan could go around them since you've caught it this early. If you had fallen into this, it would have taken it would have taken probably a couple of hours to get around it if you'd been any closer, because the mud is just that thick and that deep, but you can see the light reflecting off of it from here, and having been on the road enough, you know what this looks like. So you guys managed to avoid a pretty bad slowdown.
Alright.
As you're moving about, you do notice that there are several other travelers. One of the other guards, a young dwarf woman named Eldkin, looks very frustrated that you spotted this before she did, and she immediately climbs to the front of the top of one of the caravan wagons so that she can get a better view of the lay of the land. But she turns to Jarell and Arik as the two of you pass by on your way back from noting everyone and letting the caravan master know so that they can adjust course and go off the road just a little bit to get around this. Says, "Thank you very much." She looks like she's swallowing a pine cone while she's thanking you for catching this.
It's no problem at all.
Appreciate it. There's a halfling that darts up onto the wagon next to her, and young man whose name is Enam, and he swings his way up onto the wagon and says, "Oh, it's not nearly as big as the mud hole we got stuck in a couple of months back. Thank you so much, gentlemen."
No problem.
He winks and throws throws a little salute over at Jarell. "Hey, you boys like to play cards?"
I do.
It's traditional. We put a little game together around the campfire at night. Why don't we say you meet me after we've gotten bedded down, after we get the caravan set aside for the evening?
Fair enough.
Sounds good to me.
Glad to hear it. Bring your coin purse. He ducks out.
Oh Lord.
Eldkin rolls her eyes at this.
Jarrell, you do remember what happened last time
You're not
you
there.
did it. Well, that's why I'm not saying it in character.
Fair enough.
Let's try to keep it just in the coin purse this time, Jarrell, and not with blood everywhere and broken tables. Possible.
I'm not the one who started that.
Yeah, that's what I say all the time, too.
Along the way, after you guys get back onto the roads, another young guardswoman named Lida. She's human. She strikes up a conversation with you gentlemen and Eldkin as well, talking about the different things that have been faced upon the road on this particular stretch, running into bandits from time to time, and that occasionally bumping into the odd beast, and just lets you know what to look out for. She appreciates the work you guys did, so she's trying to show that appreciation by making sure you're better prepared for this stretch of road. She seems like an honest sort, based off of just how she's proffering this information, but you never can tell with people. And just thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you taking the time. Otherwise, we would have been pushing wagons out of mud holes for hours. God, no one likes that. Well, in the meantime, say again.
Sorry, what time is it? What time is it in the day?
By this point, you guys have been traveling probably about 5 hours. The sun is headed toward the horizon.
So we'll be making camp next hour or two?
Probably very quickly, yes.
Okay. I'm going to... Moruk is going to slip out of the caravan, or out of the wagon. As she does so, she looks at Puck and just firmly says, "Stay with Valora."
Puck sort of squeezes himself a little flatter to the bench that he was sitting on, and looks like a little lump on the bench.
Never mind. Just stay. I'll be back. And then I just want to go off into the woods alongside the caravan and see what kind of hunting I can do before camp is made.
Make a survival check, Moruk.
What?
Survival check.
Oh, survival check. Sorry, you cut out there. All I heard was Moruk.
All right. You don't have too much in the way of difficulty finding food. There is all manner of edible plants, wild mushrooms, the occasional wild potato root. There is also a fair amount of wild game to be had. Deer, squirrels, rabbits. You probably...
Can I get a brace of cookies and some potato... I'm sorry, never mind.
You're able to snap up enough food to feed yourself and about 3 or 4 other people.
Okay. I kind of need more than that. Should I keep looking?
If you want to do it again, go ahead. Make another survival check. At disadvantage
have I
this
been
time, because you're in the same area.
How long have I been at the hunting?
It probably takes you about, I'd say about an hour to get the first part done. This is a pretty game-rich area. But the second part, make it a disadvantage, because you've been at this a while, and you're in the same area.
Okay, well, just to be clear, though, I am going along, like, near the caravan as it goes along, right? Like, I don't want to lose sight of the caravan. Well, not sight, but You know what I'm saying? I don't want
Given
to
the
just, like,
time of day that you stop and do this, the caravan pretty much pulls to a stop. So you've got time to range further from the road if you
okay.
want to.
No, I mean, I'll just. I just wanted to make sure I didn't like lose the caravan.
Yeah. No, odds of you losing the caravan are pretty low at this stage. Ugh. All right. This time you come up short. There was a very large deer that you almost had, but some instinct triggered it, and it got away from you.
All right, what do I have?
You come back with enough food and small animal catches to comfortably feed 3 and provide enough sustenance for one night for 5. I mean, it would be otherwise a day's rations, but if you split it out to like 5 or 6 people, it's just one good meal for everybody.
Okay, that's fine. I will come back. So I come back to the camp, um, and I have, I guess, like a bag of mushrooms and wild edible plants, and then I have just like, I'm gonna say brace of coating. I'm gonna say some rabbits
Okay.
that are kind of strung up and over my shoulder. Where is Valara?
Valara is still in the caravan and engaged in deep conversation with Elliot about spells and the like.
Okay. I head back to the wagon, and climb in, and I set the cot or the dead the dead rabbits down. I just sort of like plunk them down on my seat and say, I've caught dinner. Um, yeah, I have I rabbit and some uh, mushrooms and potatoes and some other edible plants. Uh, I was thinking I would make a stew or something. Uh, do you eat meat?
Valara,
Uh,
go
yeah,
ahead.
who's that too?
Go ahead.
Oh, that was directed to Elliot.
Yeah,
I've seen
go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I prefer to have it, already taken care of, I guess. But you seem like a very capable hunter.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be out.
No, you're fine.
Um, I'll just be outside, and then she picks the dead rabbits up and ducks back out, and there's a little like a short whistle, and then Puck gets up and goes out.
Yeah, Puck sort of lumbers out of the wagon, dives over.
And I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. I just have a weird thing with death and stuff. That's it. I apologize. I'm not much of a hunter myself.
And stuff.
So she's gonna set up outside the wagon, just start cooking, and I would guess that Arik and Jarell know where to find them.
You guys are not difficult to find. Arik and Jarell, you're welcome to join up whenever it suits you at the end of your caravan duties. The caravan's pretty much settled for the time being. The horses are hobbled, the wagons are stopped, and wheels are set so that they won't automatically roll. Now's probably a good time as any to rejoin your companions.
And I would say that since you guys are being caravan guards, that you probably would have seen Morarook leave and come back with her catches. So you probably know that there's going to be food if you want to go over there.
Were you making any particular effort to disguise your movements?
No, I didn't think there was any need to.
Yeah, then the guards would have. The guards pass word around whenever they see one of the caravan members leave the caravan for any period of time. You guys know exactly where she's been and, what she's been up to.
So what are you guys doing?
I am going to walk over to where you are going.
Okay, she's just outside the wagon, like, at this point skinning a pair of rabbits, and there's already a bit of,
Oh, I'm so hungry.
There's, Valara is in the wagon, and, there's another, person that made a fool of himself, and frankly, so did Puck, and then I did too, and I don't know how to talk to people who are attractive.
I couldn't hear almost any of that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you lost the connection.
She says, Valara is in the wagon, and there's also another person, and Bear made a fool of himself, and so did Puck, and then I did too, and I don't know how to talk to people who are attractive.
So the food's in there then.
No, the food is here. It's not.
The food is here then.
Not done.
Making new friends.
I don't think that's a good word for it, but making a fool of myself. Yeah.
You just gotta breathe. Go talk to him. What's the problem?
I dropped
I've
a
got to
random
start
dead
somewhere.
animal in front of him.
Yeah, maybe he's hungry. That's good for him. You want me to go talk to him for you?
No, Auric, no, I don't.
Are you sure? Because I'll solve your problem right now. Like, right now.
I think I'm going to make it worse.
I'm not... Look, I know people who read romance novels. I know how to do this kind of stuff, alright?
How about you stay out here and I will finish cooking stew and then you put that in your face.
Well, why are you going to have him sitting in there eating by himself? You could have just had him come out here. There's nothing weird about that.
Valara, who I might point out is...
Hey, Valara, can you come out here, please, for a minute?
Sure, we'll be right out. And Valara brings
Thank
Elliot
you.
out with Valara brings Elliot out to the campfire as well. And they're both rapid fire, or at least Valara is rapid fire discussing books and, this great new romance novel series that I've been reading. It's just so good.
Romance novels. It's terrible. Why don't you come sit over here? Valara talks about your romance. Oh, wait, there's no room. Oh, here, you can just sit next to Morwick over there, you person. Go ahead.
My name's Elliot.
Hi, Elliot.
Hi.
This is Ulrich, and that's Jarell. And I think I've left my rucksack.
No, I'll get it for you. Don't worry about it. I get it for you. Just sit down. We got a card game to go to anyway, me and Jarell, but you can just sit down. Look at the time. We got to get to that card game. So you guys hang out.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
thought you were eating.
See you later, guys.
Save some food for us.
Yeah, save some food for us. We're gonna be hungry after he loses all his money. So let's go. Let's go, Jarell. Let's get out of here quick.
Would you like some stew?
Please, yes. It smells great. I can smell it from inside the cart.
She ladles a bowl of soup and hands it to you, and then promptly picks up the rucksack that she said was inside the wagon, picks it up from next to her, gets up, and goes into the wagon with a bowl of stew.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Psst, Morwick. Hey, psst, Mark. You're welcome.
She looks at Puck and says, "He's worse than you are."
Oh, boy.
Saw
Is,
that drill. Pretty
Reaper-
smooth, huh?
Is Reaper still in the wagon? did he go out with, Elliot?
Good question, Jarell.
No, Reaper, the
Oh,
cat.
Reaper. I thought that was directed at Jarell. I can barely hear you.
Sorry.
It's two different people.
No, it's two totally different people. Reaper the cat. What does Reaper do? Elliot, does Reaper come with you?
Yeah. Yeah, he probably would have come with me. Is it dark now? Did we
Yeah.
decide that?
It's gotten quite dark.
Okay.
The sun goes down rapidly at this hour.
I will feed Puck and Thomas, and then after a few minutes of pretending like I'm not going to give Bear dinner, I give him a small amount of dinner, but it's not like anything fancy. It's just a couple of
Bear just rubs up on you and wraps around your neck and, drapes his tail, and he seems very happy.
I'm sorry for snapping at you.
You're talking to Bear, right?
Bear.
Okay. Bear just sort of chitters a little bit and rubs up on you and then continues eating his dried fruits.
I let Reaper, lick at my bowl a little bit. He wants to.
Reaper eats a little of what you give and then kind of pushes away with one paw.
Yeah. That sounds perfect.
Meanwhile, at the card game, while all that is going on, as you're all sitting down to your card game, you do see Eldkin is here keeping an eye on things, but not really paying too much attention to what people are doing, just making sure nobody does anything dumb. Enom, the halfling, is just loudly proclaiming, "Ah!" and then there was the time that the dragon hit the town, and oh man, that was just a mess. Let me tell you. Here, boys, hey, come in. Let me tell you.
All right, let's do this. Is there any alcohol at the table?
There is a significant amount of beer.
Oh, Jarell, you are done tonight, my friends.
I do not know what you speak of.
You'll see.
So the gentlemen sit down, and I suppose you get dealt in. Are you guys going to be drinking?
I'll have one.
I will not.
Somebody learned their lesson, I see.
Learned your lesson, have we?
One second.
Remember that time Darrell got super drunk and threw up all over everything?
I do. So gross.
All right. Your first drink is not going to cost you much in the way of getting drunk straight on, so no constitution check for the beginning. Go ahead and let's see. Let me find the table for this. If you guys want to just talk, I can engage with you as the NPCs while I look this up.
In lieu of talking, they just sit there and glare.
Yeah. The there's a great deal of chat.
So you're gonna waste our time.
The
You're gonna waste our time all night, or are we gonna play?
We're just studying
They're-
each other right now.
they're busy telling stories about being on the road. The dragon story gets rather intense and inventive as the young halfling tells about how he saved a whole town from a dragon by using a fire out in a field to lure it away. And then we got the thing away because we had this special kind of grass, you see. And you put it in when the fire's just the hottest and it makes dragons go crazy. It's like catnip. Led the thing away from town in a heartbeat. It was amazing.
That sounds interesting.
Now, what about you boys? You got any interesting stories, tall tales you'd like to tell?
Nope.
Well, bundle of laughs you are. Well then. Well, so the game is 3 Dragon Ante. Who here is
Perfect.
familiar with how to play?
I am very familiar.
Are you now? And what about you? You look like a strapping minister. Are you familiar with the rules
Yeah.
of the game?
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Excellent. Always hate having to teach the noobs. Now, the first thing that you're going to do, we are playing for small stakes since it's the early part of the journey. If you would please, just go ahead and ante in for 5 silver.
All right.
Seems good to me.
Alright, so 5 silver apiece.
Yes.
Alright. Go ahead and each of you roll a d100.
How do I do the D100 again?
Slash die 1d100, enter.
Where do I type that in?
In the chat.
In the chat.
So how do I do it again? Tell me one more time.
Slash
you
DIE space 1d100.
Slash dice.
Die. D-I-E.
Alright. And then D100.
Yep.
Nope.
The forward slash, not the backslash.
Nice. 26. Nice.
No card goes
Quarter of the way
first.
there.
Well, why don't you go first then, Mr. Arik? Give me a D100 plus your level. So this is going to be D100
The
plus
ante
4.
is actually the value of the lowest card.
D100 plus level, Sir Arik.
How do I do it plus my level?
You just add a
That's
Exact
plus.
same thing, but then hit plus 4.
Gotcha.
I'll be right back.
It's just math.
I don't know what
That's
you're
all
talking
D&D
about.
boils down to is it's storytelling and math. Ooh. All right, Jarrell, go ahead. Very impressive.
Nice.
All right. Jarell, after an evening of carousing and drinking and just carrying on in general, you manage to clean up. The game and the stakes grow higher and higher as a merchant and another guard and another teamster from the group all join in. The game goes well into the night, long after Sir Arik has slipped away. But before dawn breaks, the game finally comes to a close somewhere around 2, 3 in the morning, and you walk out of that gathering of card playing with 170 new gold pieces, all your own.
Nice.
Sir
Speaking
Arik,
of magnificence.
on the other hand, Sir
Got
Arik,
more money. No.
you end up spending your evening talking and playing and occasionally catching the eye of the guard that you were speaking to earlier, who was going so out of her way to assist in exchange for having saved you all the trouble of pulling wagons out of the mud, Lita. You discover her name is Lita Widris. She is, you find, honest and courageous, and has spent many years in the South as a mercenary and even a sailor from time to time, and stayed for a good bit of time in Cormier, and now she's gotten a thrill for seeing what the snows and the frozen seas of the far north are really like, and wants to experience, this for herself, to have a whirlwind adventure. And the two of you get so caught up in the discussion and in just the idea of it all, that you're pretty certain that she's inviting you back to her tent, just in the heat of it all, the discussion and the romance of the moment.
So in that moment, I'm getting all caught up, totally into it, and I just kind of stop and I'm like, I gotta go.
And she goes,
And I just kind of turn around and walk away.
oh, come on. Really? You gotta turn this down? Come on.
Yeah.
Arik.
I appreciate talking to you and everything, but it's time to go. There's clearly some damage there on my end.
No. Don't have to say anything. I know what it's like. And, I... Just go. And she goes back to her, tent.
How much gold was that again?
170.
Oh.
Sir Auric kind of looks back at her and is kind of like, has this kind of look on his face.
Oh.
Can't decide if he's gonna like rage or if he's just like, he's having definitely some kind of crisis going on in his head right now. And he just kind of stops for a minute, like he's kind of second guessing or questioning himself, and then he just turns around and just keeps walking.
Okay.
You were a romance novel in yourself.
Tense moment. Whew. And ladies, what do you guys get up to? Morrook and Elliot. Valara, for whatever reason, just she talks a million miles a minute. She's very excited about the books, and then she almost immediately just falls asleep after she's had a little bit of food. She's like a kid on too much sugar right now. She's just too wired, and she burns out just as fast and falls asleep.
Well, if I'm still alone outside, I just kind of like walk over to, like, I assume we're in some kind of like clearing area, or
You're
like
off
still on
side
the
of
road or something.
There's trees around, but not too terribly many. You can still see the road from here. It's not that far off, but it's far enough that it affords you some cover.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna go over to like one of the nearest trees and just kind of sit down and start, like, I guess, do I have a light of some kind?
Yeah, you can.
Well, I have dark vision.
Yeah, you've got the ability to see in the dark at the moment.
So I'm just gonna go over to one of the nearest trees and sit down and start uh, like writing in my spell book, but also all the while talking to myself. It seems like I'm talking to myself.
Saying
I
anything in
will.
particular?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just so what did you think of these new people?
You get impressions. Mostly a kind of very very tired yawning sound in your head.
So that's what I'm doing.
After Elliot leaves, Moira kind of pokes her head out, looks around, gets out, picks up Valara and puts her carefully inside the wagon and
She's
covers her with a blanket.
she's drooling. She's just out.
What about the sheets on our
I look at Puck and I say, "My head is basically pointless, but watch her and I don't know, whimper in terror if something happens, and come get me."
Puck sort of piles in next to Valara and snuggles up with her.
All right. You can come get me if something happens, right?
Puck sort of nods and flicks his tail once.
Right. I'm just gonna go for. You know what? There, get out.
Say again?
Yeah, get out
Bear, get out.
of the rucksack. Like, come out.
Bear pokes his head up out of the rucksack.
Stay with Puck. Make sure nothing happens.
Bear scampers down your arm and jumps over onto the bench next to Puck and then hops onto Puck.
Stay.
He immediately curls up in a little ball of fluff.
The drill, get me if anything goes wrong. And then she's going to go. She wants to kind of walk, and I'm hoping to have her run into Arik. She's going to kind of walk up and down along the caravan, and she's going to give Thomas a chance to stretch his wings and fly around a little bit.
Okay. Let me see what Thomas gets up to.
And I guess if Elliot isn't too far from the wagon, and I think you said has very high passive perception, then you see Laura get out of the wagon, lift the flap on her rucksack, and a bat kind of clambers out and then takes off.
Reaper kind of gets up for a minute, and I'm like, no, don't even think about it.
But all right. The you hear a voice sort of stretch and yawn, Elliot, and it very sleepily says, "Well, they seem nice enough. At least they will be more polite than your last travel companions, I suppose."
Yeah, probably. I think they just kept me along for like a punching bag or something.
But hopefully
Probably
your
should have
friend will
left them
show up.
sooner.
It would be terrible
That-
if your friend didn't catch up to us after all.
Yes, this is true. He kind of needed me, I guess, from what he said, but
Well, maybe
Uh-huh.
he's slinking about somewhere. He's quite sneaky.
it's true. Almost as sneaky as you.
No one's as sneaky as me. Sir Arik, while you're on your way back from the card game, you do see Moruruk walking just along the edge of the caravan.
Hey, what you up to?
I'm giving Thomas a chance to stretch his wings.
Awesome. I'm going to bed, or I'm gonna go hit something. I'll be back later.
Are you alright?
Yep. See ya.
You don't seem alright.
It's fine. Bye. I don't even stop to make that conversation. It's literally just like, hey, what's up? What are you doing?
In passing.
Nothing. In passing, like, and just not even stopping.
Alright.
Bye! I look up at Thomas and say, I don't understand people.
Thomas just sort of flies in a circle, and you hear sort of a chittering noise.
Oh, I didn't think you understood them either. It was just sort of a comment. I'm not looking for advice. Just...
Thomas alights on your chest and sort of is all splayed out with his wings kind of clinging to you.
Alright. I guess we'll go back and go to sleep and try to pretend like today didn't happen.
While you're on your way back, Thomas picks up and starts circling you again.
I thought we were going to... Right, just come back when you're done. I'll just sit here. And she sits on the edge of the wagon, like the back of it, and just kind of waits.
Does anyone else do anything before you guys bed down and get up in the morning?
Yeah, I take one of the bottles that I had stole from somebody's like table as I stormed out. I kind of pick it up and swinging it with my sword to like break it, and I just start bashing it into the ground just to kind of let off steam. I pull off all my armor in the process also.
Can we hear that? Is it like really loud?
I would assume so. Like, I mean, I'm not like yelling or anything, but like you can hear smashing of a bottle, and then you hear kind of like, you know, plates of armor kind of hitting the ground and like me bashing something on the ground.
I'm gonna go investigate that.
While you're doing this, a gnome, a gnomish girl comes over and watches you for a moment, and she makes no business about hiding from you. She just kind of watches you for a moment while you're smashing this bottle to bits. And very softly she says after you stopped, "Do you think you got it?"
Yeah, I think I got it. Thanks.
You alright?
Fine. I put all my armor pieces like onto like my breastplate, which is on the ground, which is like connected to a leather strap, and I just kind of throw my sword over my back and just start dragging it with all this armor, making all this racket and noise as I'm going.
Sleep well then.
Yep.
She wanders away, but you can feel her gaze on you the whole way back.
So Ulrich,
Yep.
are you sure you're alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Are you okay? I saw that you had an animal that was flying or something. Are you alright? Did you survive?
Yeah, you just smashed a bottle to bits with your sword.
That doesn't sound like me at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
I watched you do it.
Are you sure? There was a gnome back there.
You're a lot.
She might have done it, because I don't remember that.
You also pulled all your armor off.
You know, it's hot. It's hot.
Do you want to talk about what's going on?
You know, I think right now I need some bed. We can probably talk about it like never, and yeah, and I think that's it.
Do you want some alcohol?
You know, I think I had enough of that tonight. I think I'm just going to, you know, I'm just gonna over there by the wagon, you know.
Yeah. All right. If you need anything, you know where I am, and if you want to talk about it,
That's maybe one day. Maybe one day. Right now, I think I need some bed.
yeah. All right. Yeah. Just a reminder that we're trying to low profile. Just you know something to keep in mind.
I didn't make all that noise back there.
Yeah. Of course.
I told you about the gnome girl back there, right? Like did you see the gnome? Did you see her pass? She was big. She was kind of like a bigger.
Make an insight check, Morrook.
She was a bigger gnome. She didn't look. She looks small from a distance
Make
because
a
you're looking at her
deception check,
from a.
Sarek.
Where is my?
This might work on other people, but for some reason, Morrook, you can tell. But it's also clear he just doesn't want to talk about it.
Right. I can tell that you don't want to talk about it, which is fine. But I can also tell that you're lying, which is less fine. Aren't you a paladin? Do you have like standards?
So I get really close to her, like really close, uncomfortably close for her, since she doesn't like people. And I get right up to her ear, and I say, you know, I tell her, I say, enjoy the fruit of your youth, because you know, when you're young, the fruit is nice and ripe. I said, but as you get older, the fruit becomes bitter. And I just kind of walk away.
I feel like we were talking about fruit there, but I'm not very good at analogies. Metaphors.
Or do you want to keep talking about it?
Yeah, no, I can tell you don't want to talk about it. I'm just gonna go and leave you alone because this makes me uncomfortable, which I think is what you wanted. So, good night.
Good night.
She heads back to the wagon.
I just whisper to my company, that's a mean paladin. Just kind of blink a couple times.
Make a perception check, Elliot.
Oh gosh. Ooh, that's not good.
It's not difficult to notice the mess, but you can't really hear what's going on. Given your dark vision, though, you are able to pick out snatches of conversation. You get a general gist of it from reading lips. Your companion says to you, well, there's a stable group of people. You sure you want to be sharing a caravan with them?
Well, I mean, this is our caravan. This is our wagon. We've met worse people.
Fair enough. It's your life, after all. Not like I have one.
You don't have to worry about it as much as I do.
There's a noise of vague disgust. Very well. Oh, can I read one of your books tonight?
Yeah, sure. I'll set it up. Where did you leave off at?
I'll find my place. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Morrook is back at the wagon at this point. She looks over at Elliot like she wants to say something, and then just gets in the wagon.
All right. Does everybody bed down for the evening?
Yeah, my character's out.
Pretty much.
All right.
Like, are there places to sleep, like, or enough space to sleep, like, in the wagon?
There's space to sleep in the wagon. It's not the most comfortable, but there's enough space that you're not bumping into each other too much.
Okay, because I'm uncomfortable with sleeping outside
Fair enough.
without like a tent or anything.
Yeah. Well, and there is plenty of space for tents too, but a bunch of people have pitch tents. Other people are sleeping in the wagons. It's a thing.
Okay. So Reaper will hop up in there first to like kind of announce that I'm coming, and then
Yeah, Reaper wanders around the inside and nuzzles on Morrick's leg for a moment before hopping onto the spot where he's going to bed down.
I prop up a book like against the wagon wall,
All right.
and then lay down.
Over the course of the night for sleeping, Morrick, make a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't notice anything.
Okay.
All right. Next morning, everybody picks up and prepares for their next full day of journey. At first light, the guards are called out. As you're spending your time getting the camp moving and packing up the tents and everything, Lita seems to be avoiding you at first, Arik, but then she kind of walks in alongside you. Hey?
Hey,
You good?
I'm good.
Good. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
She looks like she's about to say something else, but then she picks up something that is about twice the size that it ought to be able to, that she ought to be able to carry, and she just strains with it a little bit and says, "Well, this has to get somewhere," and walks off.
See you later.
A moment or
Screwed that
so
one up.
later, Eldkin, the shield dwarf guard, she walks up to you alongside, and she's leading a couple of ponies back from a stream where she was getting them watered, and watches her friend walk off and looks over at you and says, "What the devil did you do?" And just shakes her head and walks away, followed by the clip clop of a couple of ponies.
Mm.
Morok is gonna swing by Sir Arik. Better than last night?
Yeah, about last night. Sincerely apologize. I think I was not in the right frame of mind. I did not mean to get all weird and creepy and close with you and stuff. I apologize. I'd prefer if we did not discuss this with everyone else, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's alright. I don't really talk much anyway. Just wanted to make sure you're alright.
I'm good.
Okay.
I appreciate your concern and your concern last night. Thank you very much.
She goes like she's gonna walk away and then kind of drops a paperback, and it's the novel that you were leafing through yesterday morning at breakfast.
As she's walking away, I just kind of look up and kind of grin a bit and pick up the book. I look around first to make sure no one's looking. I'm like, oh, look, she dropped something,
Make a
but
perception check, just in general.
You better carry it until you see me again, really.
Yeah. Make a perception check, Art. Seems clear. Well, let me go ahead and make some rolls to see how the day progresses.
Give me 1 second, guys. I want to make sure these
Yeah, go
kids are
ahead.
jumping in the bed real quick. Just give me 1 second.
Good plan. Sarah, while he's doing that, could you look at your items list and tell me if the menagerie item works for you?
What?
It says Morrowick's Menagerie.
What do I do with it?
Open the little button on the side of it.
Yep, that works.
Can you see all of the
It says unable to create window with data source, so
yeah.
I can't click on any of them.
All right, we'll work that part out. It works on my end. Obviously, I need to figure out why it's not working on yours, but that's the character sheets for each of your pets. So,
Cool.
they've all got little tokens and everything, except for Bear. I can't find a good squirrel icon.
That's just unacceptable, because we know who's going to do the most help in combat.
Clearly. I mean, it's only come up once, I guess.
Yeah, when he was scouting.
Yeah,
Squirrels are crafty, man.
they are. Fortunately, that's theater of the mind's eye. All right. Well, as the morning wears on, not a whole lot seems to happen. Valara takes some getting up. She's clearly not sleeping very well. She's having kind of a rough evening. This is a long stretch of trip, but it's only a couple of hard days of travel on this particular leg. By the end of the day, you can see Baldur's Gate in the darkness, gleaming off in the distance, using the spyglass provided by one of the other caravan guards, Jarell. It's still a good ways around a series of forest, and then through a bit of very heavily wooded river plain to get there, but it's not too very much trouble. And once you can arrive, it should be maybe 1-2 more days worth of hard travel to get there, and then you'll be able to put your feet up for a day or so, or at least take a break while you look around. Does anyone want to do anything over the course of day 2?
Moraruk is probably going to spend the day either walking alongside the caravan, or if she has to be in the wagon, pretending to be like very interested in the book on that she picked up that has the care and keeping of bats in it, but basically making like every attempt to not have to talk to anyone, and also pretend like she doesn't see anyone else, like she's just to herself.
Okay.
It's obvious that she's still like kind of mortified about yesterday, and that has added to her typical like introvert nature of not wanting to talk to anyone. She's like doubly into the whole like yesterday just went very badly. So she's just not letting today have a chance to go badly by not speaking to anyone.
I'm just gonna like get up off the cart and like sit. Like, is there like a spot on the back that I could sit? Like,
Yeah.
hang my legs out.
Yeah, there's room for that.
I just get up and say like, oh, I hope that's a good book, and to Marlook and go sit on the back.
Oh yeah, it's about animals.
Animal books are some of the best kind. Then I'll go sit.
Silence.
Probably like just the too awkward character.
Vlara, who would be perfect to cure this malaise, is just busy being ill in the back of the caravan and seems like she's having some kind of terrible headache.
Or Yvette, this is why you can't leave us alone.
That's right. You're the sociable one. You tie the whole group together. Everybody else is just awkward.
I'm off on guard duty.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Jarrell would be doing so much better than this, but he's busy. He's working for a living, like you do. Well, let me make sure everybody's got their long rest from the previous evening.
BRB.
Okay. That way everybody's got their hit die back.
I'm back.
All right. One of the merchants passes by having a conversation about Kalashite silk, and he's very very eager to get a package delivered there as quickly as he can.
Oh, since I'm not actually doing useful things,
Yeah.
Can Moraruk be semi-useful and, like, as she's walking by along the caravan, like, well, not passively, actively but pretending to be passive, to see if she can overhear anything that might be useful in terms of, like, the cult and, like, the reason that we're actually here?
Make a perception check. I mean, it's not really difficult to look like you're just trying to pass the time on the road. You do hear of a man who is talking a great deal about who's talking about a shipment of silk he's rushing to a man in Baldur's Gate, and he really hopes that he gets it there quickly. He seems furtive. No one really says anything that stands out. There's a merchant talking about who just seems really thrilled to be out on the road. He's just he's happy to buy a drink for someone or just generally be friendly to someone along the road. You pick up his name as Samardag. Sounds like a very friendly man, and he spends a good deal of the trip just talking and listening to this female guard who you haven't really seen around very much, and he offers her a shoulder to cry on and pats her a little bit and makes it so that no one can really see, but you still notice because they don't notice you. And he gives her some space while she has a moment and comes back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and he offers her an ale and then makes his way down the rest of the caravan, laughing and whistling a jaunty tune. There's a couple of them that are uncharacteristically silent.
A couple.
Say again?
A couple of what? The guards?
Just caravan travelers who seem uncharacteristically silent. There's a male half-elven merchant. He doesn't really seem to say much or do much. He just travels around. the gnomish woman that um, Sir Arik was referring to. You see her wandering about. She seems quite busy, but says nothing to anyone as she travels. The wagon master, Akenrai, the very boorish, very loud fellow who was speaking earlier, you've noticed he's not especially friendly, but he's not unfriendly either. And you realize as you listen to him talk and shout, it's not that he's unfriendly, he's just really awkward and bad at it. And he has the manners of Bear the Squirrel.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, he makes vulgar jokes. He clearly could use a bath. And it's remarked upon by a couple of the wagon drivers and laborers. But they seem perfectly pleasant. I mean, they just remark on it like it's the weather. They're not really bothered by it. It's just they don't want to spend a lot of time with him because he is that way.
So ultimately, I'm not really picking up anything useful, though, right?
Nothing specific. I mean, there's a couple of candidates, but unless you were to go and speak to them, you don't know that you're necessarily going to get anywhere. Or if you started rummaging through people's bags, which has its own risks.
I want to kind of find... Correct me if I'm wrong, but Jarrell speaks Orcish, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go find Jarrell.
Okay.
And I kind of like fall in line next to him as we're walking, and then in Orcish, I say to him, and I want the tone of it to be like we're just discussing the weather or something casual, but I quietly say to him, not finding anything interesting.
You've completely faded out.
Okay, how much of that did you hear?
None of it.
Yeah, there's okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to sound casual, but I'm quietly speaking to him in Orcish, and I basically say, I'm not noticing anything interesting. What about you?
Last night there was a halfling. He said he rescued a village from a dragon.
Oh.
He said he got rid of it by using a type of grass that was basically catnip for dragons.
Have I heard of anything like that with my dragon scholar? Is it as a dragon scholar? Is that something?
Make a nature check with advantage. You have never heard of anything that makes a dragon react like that. There's legends that maybe dragons are kind of like giant cats, but these are the kind of tavern legends that people who really don't spend time with dragons tell. You've never encountered anything like that before.
Okay. I've never heard of anything like that. But truth.
No, go on.
Likely that would be really useful.
It would be interesting.
Notice anyone suspicious?
I really haven't seen anything suspicious as of yet. There's been some pretty quiet folk, but otherwise it seems to be a normal caravan for the most part.
Right. just head back to the wagon then. I'm not finding anything. We did join the right caravan, didn't we?
I think so.
Is this the one Pearson pointed us to?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'll just be at the wagon then if you need me. And
Alright.
she'll head back to the wagon. Is Elliot still like sitting on the back of the wagon?
Where is Elliot?
Sorry. Yes.
And so she'll get back to the wagon, notice that, and then just kind of step back and like be walking near the wagon, but isn't actually going to get any closer.
Would I have noticed her do that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
I just like Reaper
Moira
sitting.
makes no effort to hide her awkward.
Reaper is like laying next to me, so I just like kind of nudge him on the butt and just kind of like be like, go keep company.
Reaper just kind of looks at you and goes, okay.
Thank you.
Reaper hops down off the wagon and sort of struggling to keep up a tiny bit because tiny cat legs.
He needed the exercise anyway.
Yeah. Reaper follows Morrowick along, occasionally, shoulder checking her shins, headbutting her occasionally.
And then I start talking to myself again.
What do you say this time?
Is that something I notice?
What's your passive perception?
No idea. 13.
It is 13. You're walking pretty close to the wagon, so yes, you notice this.
Okay.
What do you say ostensibly to yourself, Elliot?
I was just gonna say, so how far did you get in your book last night?
Well, I didn't get.
I'm gonna Morrowick assume she's talking, or he's talking to Valara. Given that.
Yeah, strangely,
Valara's in
you
the-
don't hear any response at all. Elliot. Posting this in Fantasy Grounds chat.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Apparently I'm a better reader than you.
Please. The only part of that conversation you hear, Morrowick, is is just Elliot chuckling to himself.
She looks down at Reaper and then back up at the at the wagon, and then just kind of is like, I guess Valara is really quiet today. It must be the headache.
Reaper just
No,
looks
this
up and
isn't-
stares at you
this
with
is-
far more awareness than a cat.
She didn't actually say that. She just, that's what's going through her head.
Ah. In that case, Reaper just cats along. Like a cat.
Cat's gonna cat.
Like a cat.
Cat's gonna cat. You guys didn't bring any of your horses or anything else, did you? What did you bring with you? I don't remember if you picked up horses.
We have horses. Just got, or at least for Morrowick, I know all she has is her menagerie and her rucksack, which is what she's been traveling with
Right.
You know, nothing fancy, and she's carrying her staff.
Right. All right. Long about this time, one of the wagons up ahead overturns on a difficult corner, and it looks like there's the sound of a loud crash as something hits the ground.
I will go check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out too.
All right. Who all is going?
I assume the wagon that I'm on stops,
It does.
so I kind of like stumble off of it and go check.
Okay. So pretty much everybody.
Yep.
Valara, I imagine, stays where she is. Okay.
All right. What do we see?
Well, as you approach the portion where the wagon has stopped, go ahead and make... Go ahead and make a perception check as you see several of the hands trying to put things back in boxes.
Perception.
Yeah, for everybody who's there.
I perceive not very much. Puck is at the wagon, Bear is on my shoulder. Thomas is in my rucksack in the wagon.
Okay. Arik, Elliot, Jarell, I need perception from all of you.
Yeah, like my menu vanished. Like I got the map, but for some reason the menu just vanished.
The map probably went over it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, I see it there. I am smart, I promise. What am I rolling again?
Perception.
Perception.
Oh,
All right. Sir Arik, you...
not even looking in that direction. I'm looking like, I'm looking at the ground at my foot, like, huh.
Oh, hey, thanks for the resubscribe there, Josh. As you guys are looking around, you don't really notice anyone in particular standing out, but the caravan hands are doing their best to put back the contents of each of the crates, a couple of them having been smashed beyond recognition. Some of them appear to have been filled with what looks like gold, jewels, silver.
I look over at Arik and then look at the at what's fallen over. Like kind of significant looks like.
I look back at her and I'm like, can your wolf do, like, can he fight with us?
My wolf is scared of mice.
Well, can it at least intimidate? Can we get some answers?
I can do that. And she'll
While you guys
walk
are...
to the whoever the closest person is and say, "What's this?" And I'll roll an intimidate check.
Okay.
I'm not being very intimidating right now.
More than you think.
Can I intimidate too? I have intimidation.
I mean, she's already gone and done this, but
Yeah.
you watch as this is going on. One of the caravan passengers who has been keeping a keen eye on this is looking around and goes, I don't know. Somebody's gold. Clearly, look at all that. That's a lot of money.
That
Wow.
doesn't look like someone's gold, does it?
It doesn't look like what?
It doesn't just look like someone's gold.
Looks like someone's a lot of gold. It obviously belongs to someone. It was in a box.
Is it like just gold pieces, or are we talking like this is obviously some of the treasure missing?
Well, I mean, once the treasure is taken, I mean, it could be anybody.
Right,
There's
but I
nothing
mean,
that
like,
specifically marks an individual gold piece as belonging to a specific person, unless there's a mark you know to look for.
yeah, but I'm saying like not just pieces of gold, but like jewelry, bracelets, goblets, stuff that like would have belonged to someone.
I'll make a
Or is
perception
it
check.
just straight gold? Yeah.
It's just a mess of really shiny metal, as far as you can tell. Lots and lots of coins spilled out everywhere. If there are cups or things in there, you can't see them. There's a couple of hands and a couple of guards, and what looks like maybe a person who might be responsible for these packages, wearing a hood, who is directing traffic and saying, "No, pack this up here, pack this up here, this goes here. I cannot believe how incompetent you people are." And you
I'm
can
gonna
hear
go
that
over
very
to-
clearly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to that person.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
What?
is this yours?
Well, it's certainly not yours. Back off. I have to get everything cleaned up.
I would certainly watch that tongue and the way you talk to her.
Did you follow her over?
Yes.
Okay. He rounds on you and says, "Look, you're one of the guards. What am I paying you people for? Keep people back from my cargo."
Whatever.
I mean, I was going to offer to help, but obviously you're...
The man looks very flustered. He's very pale. His robes are kind of dark, and the hood that he has up against the sun appears to not be doing a very good job of keeping the sun out of his eyes, because he looks bleary and stressed, and the color in his face goes from pale to almost purple as he rounds on you again, but then he kind of brings himself back in and masters his frustration. Thank you for offering to help, but I've got it. We have it, but I appreciate your kind offer. I'm sorry I'm so frustrated. Obviously, looking after a sum like this is tense. Now, if you'll excuse me, and if you would kindly forget you saw anything, I have to go and protect this.
Of course.
And with that,
So that's not suspicious at all.
he makes kind of a half bow to both of you, and then turns and heads back to the gold and silver piles and begins to pack them.
Good night,
together.
Josh.
Yeah, good night, Josh.
And it's just gold and silver and jewelry and all that stuff.
Well, for those of you who beat the 13 DC, Elliot and Jarrell, because you're dealing with a large crowd of people. I just haven't added all the NPCs to the map, but there's a large crowd of people who are looking on, and this is just people from the caravan, other merchants, other guards. The guards are all, except for Arik and Jarrell, trying to keep people back and keep people from paying attention to, the gold, because the guy barking the orders is, demanding that his wares be protected, and his wares, apparently, are a significant amount of coin. Jarrell, you and Elliot saw, just for a moment, that buried amidst the gold coins were silver coins, copper coins, platinum coins, pearls, gems, the occasional goblet, everything from finely carved wood to very interesting bits of tin or shaped gold. This is a treasure trove. It's not merely coin. This very likely is exactly what you and the rest of them are looking for, Jarrell. But you don't have any proof. There's nothing you can immediately act on.
Okay, so nothing like magical would be in here.
You
Just
wouldn't
treasure
know
and stuff.
unless you cast detect magic and went and inspected the individual bits. All you know for certain, Elliot, is that you just saw somebody spill out a veritable dragon's hoard onto the ground, and that's more money than you've ever seen in one place.
Why would they transport all this stuff under just some kind of mercenary hire guard as opposed to some, you know? And why don't they have more guards with this much loot in here? I don't know. It's suspicious to me.
I agree. I think we should keep an eye on it if possible. I'll just head back to the wagon and I agree, Jarell. We're supposed to be keeping a profile though.
That's why it was a whisper.
Right, yeah, she's agreeing with you. She's saying, I'm gonna head back to the wagon and pretend like I'm not overly interested.
That's a good idea.
I'll let Balan know. I don't see any.
While the caravan is having having all of those repairs made, they take the time to go ahead and call a halt for everyone to stop and eat food. What does everyone do for taking the time to eat? Do you all get together? Do you eat separately? What do you do?
Well, I'm already heading back to the wagon. I guess if we're stopped, I might go hunt a bit.
Okay.
Um,
I'll need a survival check from you.
okay.
Okay. And Jarell, what do you end up doing?
I'm just going to do my job and keep guard over everything.
Okay. So you stay on guard. If you want, you can take this opportunity to get a little closer if you'd like. Same thing goes for you, Sir Arik. If you're doing your job, you can take this opportunity to get a little closer.
I'm gonna get a little closer, but I want to
Yeah,
get
do that.
next to Jarell and just kind of very casually talk to him, like, hey, does something seem off about this to you?
Oh, very much. This is this is definitely our guy. Just need to find something more concrete.
You guys trying to hide your conversation at all?
Yep.
Okay. Just for general purposes, go ahead and give me a stealth check. Without disadvantage.
I think
you get to keep the 20 because
Yes.
of your,
yeah, if you're rolling without disadvantage, just click on advantage and it'll cancel it
Gotcha.
out.
between the two of you, you're fairly certain that no one saw or heard you speaking. Or if they did, they thought it was just guards talking. As you discuss this, you notice that the crowd was mostly kept back from the gold. There were a couple of people maybe who saw. It's kind of hard to tell. But a few hours later, as you are packing everything up from lunch, you notice that one of the guards, who was helping with repacking everything, doesn't get up. It's the young woman, Lita, that you were speaking to earlier, Sir Arik.
So, like, what is she doing?
She's just sitting at the campfire where you guys were stopping to eat lunch.
So everyone else is packing up, but she's just sitting there?
Completely.
I'm gonna go walk over to her
Okay.
and just be like, "Hey, come on, it's time to go."
No response.
Okay, can I like investigate? Does she look dead? Does she look poisoned?
Make a medicine check. As far as you can tell, her breathing is incredibly shallow. She does in fact appear to have been poisoned, and she is not at all conscious.
Jesus. Okay.
And
So I
that's
grab
where we're
her.
gonna go ahead and
I
stop
like.
it for now.
Ah. Okay. I was gonna get all
Alrighty,
like
it's time.
heroic.
Of course.
You can be all heroic at the beginning of next.
All right. Fair enough.
Sorry for the cliffhanger. It's just the timing. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. I'm so sorry we missed out on getting to do more with our guest. But do you mind coming back next week, Corey, or week after next?
Yeah, sure. I can do that.
Well, hopefully we'll
Awesome.
have Jeremy around as well. And we'll pick this up again with Sir Arik's heroic rescue. Hopefully, we'll see.
If he does come in, he's going to be coming in at a very interesting time.
Yeah. We'll see if Sir Arik is able to save the life of his fellow guardsmen. In the meantime, thank you all for joining us. Sorry about the frequent interruptions and little dips, but we will be back in 2 weeks' time.